This barn is in the process of falling down, and I'm in the process of making sure that doesn't happen. If you're new here, welcome to the Red Shed. Now, I have an interest in keeping this barn from falling down because this is where my workshop is, and I would like for it not to come down around my ears. I've already done some work on this barn, and I'd invite you to come back into my videos and watch those. I've got a whole playlist on the things that I'm doing to fix up this barn so far. And the foundation, that's kind of a priority at this point. So let me take you back and I'll show you the progress that we've made so far. Now don't let these stones fool you. They are not doing anything. After they have been down for many years, I stacked them up here just to keep the larger mammals from making this home. So this needs to come down so that we can evaluate what's underneath. You can see that those large stones on the corner are actually supporting weight. Also, the steps and the stones behind the steps are supporting weight. There's a small pillar of stones here that are only supporting that one log, and it isn't supporting much above. You can see these other beams are not connected to this outer wall, and they are falling down. This one's in pretty bad shape. It's not connected to anything. There's another wall deep inside there that also is crumbling. And the beams going across there aren't doing much for the floor above. Here's a view from the side of the barn up underneath, and you can see the beams that are falling out from the wall. I've been clearing away some of the stored materials in here so that I can get to the floor. The floor is very old. It has been layered up with what have you just to keep things from going through it. But you can sort of see, if this is the door and that's level, you can see that the floor has sloped off considerably to that corner because the beams underneath are not doing anything. So what I need to do is tear these workbenches out of here, tear up this floor so that I can get to the beams underneath and start evaluating what I can do for a foundation here. Let's see what we can see. Alright, so it looks like this beam here is kind of the bottom of the wall. And below it, you sort of seam that beam there. And that is supposed to be what this floor is all tied into. And as we saw from below, it's not. And all this is just falling. Boards were put on top, and then boards were put on top of that to try to bring the level back up and to mitigate the falling apart. But it isn't working, so I'm going to try to fix that. I probably don't even have to take you out of the stand to show you how bad this is. You probably saw it. So, yeah, the floor is pretty well beat up. See the ground, the light of day through the floor. So next is going to be tearing out all those floorboards back to about, I don't know, 6 or 8 feet. We'll start with that just so that I can get up under the barn and start excavating somewhat. Well, there's about 5 feet of floor torn out, and you can see the condition of the beams underneath. They're basically just laying on the ground, along with some of the floorboards. I'll probably have to pull up another 4 feet or so, and actually, if we climb down inside here, let me not step on anything that won't support me. Down here you'll see there's another wall, and that wall has some of these beams sitting on top of it, and I guess we're gonna have to go back until we get to that wall so we can set some of these beams back on top of that wall. But the rest of it looks, you know, pretty bad. How do I climb out of this hole now? There's a goat nose in the barn. Don't get stuck there. What did I tell you? I have to wonder things when I'm working in a place like this. When was the last time that somebody actually stood upright on this ground right here, where the barn is now sitting? He doesn't count. So I wonder if I were to put a level on this wall or that beam or something, look how close it'd be to level. Because from where I'm standing on this sloped ground, it looks like the barn is still kind of leaning toward that side. But I wonder if that's just where I'm standing. How close is this to being right? And could I just take out part of this floor, make all the floor flat and level across here? Since I'll be putting in either new beams or shimming up the ones that are here, I guess I could do whatever I want. I think I might have to tie together that corner somehow. Let's do it for funsies. I put it on this beam. What does it say? That's actually pretty level. I've got about a 1/4 of an inch reveal over here, about a 1/4 of an inch reveal over here for this big beam, and that's sitting level. Wow. All right. I guess I'll be doing rebuilding. I won't really be doing correcting. That's amazing. All right, I'll show you something else too. Try not to put my finger over the microphone here. If you look down in this corner, this is the door with the steps to it. And if I can get enough light, down in this corner, you can see this one beam going lengthwise in the barn. This is the bottom beam of the end wall here with the door in it. And down below, here is a support piece that these were riding on. I don't know if they were tied into this beam quite so much, or just sitting on top of this. Well, this rotted away. If it were to continue, it would catch the ends of these, but right now they don't even make it to the end beam, so they would have to sit on something else that was supported just shy of this end beam. So this gives me a good indication that any block wall that I put up will just have to be in line with that. Well, that's kind of the beginning of a plan. Let me clear out some of this wood. Okay, I've taken some more out of here, and I've gotten to the point now where this beam, it ends right here. So this was just a short piece. I believe some of these, like the one beside it, seem to go the whole way, to the end of this piece of the barn. This one rests on this rock wall, which is it's just a stack of rocks. There is not one bit. There's not one bit of mortar or cement or anything holding this thing together. So I got to figure out what to do with that. Is it strong enough? Is it holding up the barn? I don't know. Now, I would be a fool not to reuse this beam again, because that's at least a 6x6, even what's left of it. And it's pretty sturdy. It's very free, as you can see there. So if I leave it resting on that wall, or if I put another cinder block wall on this side to hold up these ends of the beams, I don't know. This is, I think, going to be my office for a little while as I start digging in here and find out where I can put in some cinder block walls and make them stick, and figure out these beams that are going to go over the top of it. So I've got my work cut out for me. All right, now I've got some room to work here. This beam, as you saw yesterday, only goes back and sits on that wall about 8 or 10 inches. And it was short about 8 or 10 inches over there. So I will reuse that beam. My idea is I'm going to relocate that large beam over here, because this side looks like it has the least structure, and then in the middle I'm going to build up with, new wood, just regular construction lumber. Because I don't trust this rock wall very much longer, I'm going to run 2 cinder block walls, one on either side of this, and I will base the structure of the floor on that, tie it into those beams there. So the cross beams will probably sit on the cinder block wall, but they'll be tied into the end beams, so that will provide the support for the wall so it won't slide out, and it also will stay connected to the floor. So now it's just a matter of clearing out some of these rocks, seeing how far I can dig down. And it's very rocky around here, so I might be digging rock all day. Now I just need that level, back another brick, and then maybe the bricks can be one higher and go up. So let's get to it. Okay, I've been at this for a couple of hours now with limited success. And right where my block needs to go is a large root. You think, okay, a large root. Just dig around it and you cut it off. Hasn't been that easy. The large root has roots coming off of it, and those roots are in between rocks. So you try to cut the roots and your blade hits the rock. You know those days you have when you get to the end of the day and you're worn out and your body hurts and but you feel good because you got something accomplished. That is not today. I am tired and I'm worn out. My body hurts, but I don't feel like I got anything accomplished. This hole is just kicking my butt. These roots and these rocks, I just can't get anywhere. So I'm going to put it to the side for today, and I'm going to pick it up another day and try to get to the bottom of this. Get to the bottom. Okay, I've done a little bit of work in here, and I haven't filmed much of it because most of what you would have been seeing is me scratching my head. A lot of these projects are mostly, decision making and planning and designing and overcoming obstacles and things like that. Of course, the obstacles you've seen so far are just, mechanical. A lot of rocks and a lot of roots, and I had to find a way around or through those. Now the problem is more integrating old with new. If this were just clean slate, I was starting something new, of course you just, you plan for it, you measure, you buy new lumber and you build the thing. But here I'm integrating the old style with the new style and the farmer style with the actual construction style. I've got trees here in place of logs. I've got timbers that are not the same size as modern timbers, so I've got to figure out how do I put together these 6x6 beams that are actually 6x6 with more modern stuff, like you can see this 4x4, which is actually only 3.5 by 3.5. How do you put those together and actually have them line up? One thing that is a little bit surprising, let me show you this. You've got this hallway that goes through on the other side of the floor that I've torn out. And I put my level across this floor and, it's level. Another surprising turn, I've got my straight edge between the top of this wall beam and that 6x6 floor beam down there. And let's see if I can do this with one hand. If I put my level on the straight edge, it's level as well, or level enough. Kudos, ancient barn builders. So this is kind of a mock-up of what this wall is going to look like when it's done. It should be a bit higher. It's going to be closer to the bottom here. Once I put in concrete underneath and mortar between the joints, it should raise it up a little bit. So I want this top ledge board to be just under here because that's where the 6x6 beam is going to sit over there and come across. And then the one on this side should look similar to that. I'm going to have I guess a 2x6 kind of lagged into here. And then I'll take the ends of my joists that will be sitting on this wall, tied into the 2x6 at the end here. Like I said, lag it into that wall to kind of tie everything together. And then, you know, this beam, of course, will also be tied into that. Trying to, you know, keep the walls together, keep the barn weight here. Pull this wall apart when I'm working in there to throw stones out or something. I always put it back up before I leave to keep the critters out. And you can see that the rocks have multiplied a bit. These are the ones that I've thrown out from the inside, or rather, those are probably the ones in the wall right now. So there was a lot of stone up underneath that building, and you can see that there are still more. Hey, buddy. Gonna be a good coat. See you, buddy. That's what I thought. Now the beam that I'm gonna put back here in this corner, I keep saying it's 6x6, so I want to go make sure that this thing actually is 6x6 so that I can plan properly. Come look at this beast. Now there's the one I'm going to use. So we get a nice 6-inch. There we go. 6-inch, maybe even a little more. So, and I measured it out before, it's just a shade over 8 feet long. So that's going to serve me very well in the place where I want it. I keep working and forgetting to film, so let me show you some progress. I've got all of the blocks that I need now. The cat came back to visit. That's not in place yet. I think I've shown before. This is just kind of a placeholder to see what it's going to look like. Once there's concrete underneath and mortar between, that'll lift it up. I've got a string line in here to kind of show me what I'm aiming for. String line is on both sides, and that's from the bottom of the beams, or what will be beams there. So that's what, you know, the wall has to be. The wall has to be at the bottom of those beams. So those beams should, at the end of this, sit on that wall, and that's the string line is where the other joists will sit. So I've dug out a little more space under there. I want to leave myself a little bed of concrete for the bricks to sit in. Now I'm not really sinking the concrete into the ground too far. It's basically just kind of a bed for all of the bricks to sit in, to kind of glue them all together, and then I'll mortar the bricks together on top of that as well. This little step up here, there's going to be, well, a step up. The blocks are going to go to the end of this trough there, and then it's going to step up 8 inches and have another course of bricks that are, of course, one row shorter. And, all right, keep digging. For you concrete people out there, I know that this is a little bit soupy, but I don't mind soupy. I'm going to scoop the stuff out into the bucket and carry it in there, so the soup probably won't go with me. So I'll have something, what do they say, enough slump. I'll have it thin enough that I can kind of pour it in place, put the blocks on, and it should settle down in. So. That's relatively straight. Well, I didn't really care for it to be, I didn't care for it to be straight this way. So it's in a line and it's level, side to side, front to back. So it'll just be, once this cures, that'll be strong enough to lay another course on top of. I'll get mortar and do that. And then the next row is going to continue over here. I've got the 4-inch block that's going to go all the way over to here, and then more 8-inch block to finish it off with a 2x on top of it. I'm gonna go rinse out all my tools. If you're a mason, if you know a mason, if you're married to a mason, you may want to avert your eyes. The following scenes may be disturbing. I don't know what I'm doing. The extent of my masonry experience is a few repairs and some, backyard projects, but it's not going to be pretty. trying to use this as a guide to keep the line straight, but the blade tilted under, and now it's pinching. So a little more to go. There we go. Sort of make a 4x4 sandwich.
It's not good to eat.